Chris Lodgson, Sac Black Biz, and American DOS Politics, Sacramento. So Measure U passed. The voters of Sacramento approved Measure U, which is the half-cent sales tax increase and the half-cent sales tax renewal, about a month ago today on November 7th, I believe it was. And right now, the big issue is, one, the effectiveness of the sales tax, which goes into effect on April 1st of 2019. So that's where all eyes are right now, is April 1st, 2019. And to see what the real effect of Measure U is. One effect that we know and that we can be pretty sure of is that this sales tax increase raises the cost of living on working families and families struggling here in Sacramento, particularly black families, particularly DOS black families here in Sacramento, in the city of Sacramento. So that's one effect that we can be pretty sure is going to be real. Starting next year, starting April 1st, 2019, there will be higher costs on some of the things that people use and need and buy every single day. And that's a problem. That's a big deal, and that's a big issue. And so that's number one. Issue number two is where, if any, of the funds generated by Measure U, this some $50 million additionally every year, but $100 million total, where those funds are going to be used. And I maintain and continue to maintain that because of the city's debt problem and because of the city's pension problem, most of that money is going to be sucked up into pensions and paying for city employees, particularly public safety employees, police, and fire. The city of Sacramento put out their applications for the advisory committee on Measure U about a week or two ago, and they're accepting applications right now. It's a 15-member committee and 15-member commission that has 9 members chosen by the City of Sacramento Council and 6 members chosen by the public employees portion. So I've thought about it, and most likely no. The reason for that is I feel like I could be more effective, and my organizing can be more effective from the outside of that committee. I also believe that committee is going to be pretty powerless. It doesn't have any legal statutory authority to mandate that the city do anything, legally. And their role is advisory. I think I'm more effective on the outside. And the last thing I'll say is we're already doing a lot of advocacy and organizing and communicating with the city on some of the priorities that we think should be put in place, vis-a-vis Measure U and not just Measure U, but the overall city budget. So we're going to be doing a lot of that advisory work no matter what. So as for me, the answer is no. So what everyday black people here in Sacramento can do to keep the committee and the council, and not just the committee and the council, but also the organized black nonprofits accountable for doing what they said they wanted to do with Measure U. First thing everyday black people can do is apply for the advisory committee. I think just because I'm not going to be a part of the committee doesn't mean that everyday regular black folks shouldn't apply and try to be a part of that committee. The second thing I think we can do is to and I'll say this bluntly, is any city council member that supported this measure that doesn't fight for the things that were promised, they should not be reelected in 2 years. So we need to unelect and to remove from office any city council person that was supporting this that doesn't fight for the things that they promised. There's an argument to be made also that because this measure does do damage to the poor, and I'm sympathetic to this argument. I would probably fall more along the lines of this argument that that council members should be unelected whether or not that money goes to do anything that they said it would. We know that this is going to have a bad and negative impact on Black Sacramento, and so they've already done damage. So holding these elected officials accountable means, at the bare minimum, unelecting any council people that supported it to begin with, and not just council members, but also any organized Black nonprofit leaders, who supported this should not be either in leadership positions, or their organizations should suffer as well. They knew and they know that this was bad for Black Sacramento, and they did it anyway. Sure, Chris Lodgson. I'm at Sac Black Biz. That's at SACBLACKBIZ. It's at Sac Black Biz on Facebook, at Sac Black Biz on Instagram as well. You can also find me at American DOS Politics Sacramento on Facebook, at ADOS Politics Sacramento on Instagram, and American DOS Politics Sacramento on YouTube as well.